Over these few weeks, we're taking a look at Teacher SEL. Why? Well, it's a vital part of what we need today as teachers, and it's certainly a huge piece of SEL, social, emotional, artistic learning. So plug yourself in and let's get rocking. Hello, everybody. Elizabeth Peterson here. Welcome to the Inspired Classrooms podcast. I'm really loving talking about Teacher SEL, and specifically in these couple of episodes here, we're in the middle of setting boundaries, and specifically 3 boundaries that every teacher really should be setting for themselves to create that healthy balance between school life and home life, and really creating that separation. Separation is a really important thing to think about, especially when you have a job like we do as teachers that can be very emotional. We get connected with the people and the students that we work with the day in and day out. And so giving ourselves the permission to set boundaries is important. Last episode, we talked about boundaries with email. This week, or this episode, we're going to take a look at the school bag. There are so many things that we do as a teacher, right? Correcting papers, planning lessons, writing or modifying or reading and following IEPs, 504s, all that paperwork. These tasks that we have are very consuming for us as teachers. And I'm going to make you a challenge. I'm going to offer you a challenge. And that is to leave your school bag that has all that paperwork in it, leave that school bag at school. That's a hard one. I know it is. I spent years and years and years bringing my packed school bag home every night and then bringing it back to school. And I'm sure you have done this as well. I'm sure that you've heard other teachers say this as well, where they'll bring their book bag home, they'll put it by the door, they'll set it down, they'll take a little moment to kind of settle into their day at home, and then they may or may not get to the papers that are inside of it, and then they end up bringing the school bag back to work, and nothing has been really touched. There are other teachers who will often bring home their school bag full of papers and spend hours on correcting papers and doing paperwork. And while paperwork and correcting papers goes with the job, there are ways to kind of set a few boundaries with this. So let's take a little walk down that path, shall we? I'm curious if you've ever considered, like I just said, I wanted to offer you this challenge to leave your school bag at school, right? I'm wondering if you ever considered a challenge like that. Now, doing that every single day right off the bat is tough. Maybe pick 1 or 2 days that you'll either get to school early, or maybe you can even stay late and use that time to do all that paperwork. And then stick to those days. Look ahead at your schedule, or maybe if you have kind of a repeating weekly schedule, maybe there are 1, maybe 2 days that you can just put in that extra half hour, 45 minutes to really get through some of that paperwork. Because when you're in the environment of school and working on those papers, and all your little piles and your baskets and your things and your pens and all the things that you use on a daily basis are kind of right there and at your fingertips. And you don't have to clear a kitchen table. You don't have to clear, a spot in the dining room or like balance papers on your legs while you're sitting on the couch to do something. That takes extra time and that takes extra space. So if you do it in your classroom, and afford yourself that time, things might actually get done quicker. And let's not forget that, the distractions of home won't also be interrupting you constantly. Yes, there will be colleagues that probably interrupt you. But, if you can carefully carve out that time, maybe shut off your lights and just have that look on your face and your body express, the way you're holding your body language. That's what I was trying to find. Your body language will let your colleagues know that this is your time. And don't be afraid to actually say that too, right? It's okay to say, oh, this is my time to get this work done. Can we chat about this later? All right. So maybe also, if that timing doesn't work for you, that might be the case for whatever season of life that you're in, right? That's part of this whole Teacher SEL, is understanding where you are and what your priorities are, and kind of what you need for yourself at this moment in your life, at this time. Maybe you do bring your bag home, but stick to only 1 or 2 days. And try, I know this is hard, but try and set aside specific time for that. Maybe it's as soon as you walk in the door. Maybe it's later at night when everybody else is in bed. The key is doing a little reflection, figuring out what you can do. Again, this is going to go back to that self-awareness piece of social emotional learning that we talked about in the last episode, and understanding what's going to work for you, and try and stick with it. You may even want to think about limiting your time that you even work, right? Give yourself a half hour, see what you can get done in that time frame, or actually I would say prioritize the work that you want to get done. If you have a huge pile, look through the pile really quickly, grab what really, really needs to get done, put that on top, work for your 30 to 45 minutes, and then stop. And reassess if the rest is even something that really needs to be completed. Maybe I'll put a little bonus episode in here at some point about, prioritizing how you can grade your papers. Let me know get in touch with me somehow and let me know if that's something you want me to talk further about. But, not every paper that we give out needs to be graded completely with a number grade or a letter grade or a huge rubric. Sometimes it's okay to lightly grade papers that you need to give back to your students. Now, of course, I'll say this again, there are times or seasons, even in your school year, where you'll need to work more than other times. But get a gauge on the amount that you do. It could very well be that you're pouring a lot of time, or maybe even too much time, into something that doesn't give much benefit back to you or your students. And that's where I want you to really think about what are the paperwork tasks that really need to get done, and what can be maybe lightly done. Get real with yourself on this, right? And it's okay to let some things go. That will lighten your school bag's load for sure. All right, so who is going to take me up on this challenge? The challenge to leave your school bag at school. And by that, I really mean the stuff you stuff inside your school bag. All that paperwork that you bring home with the intention of completing all the work, when really what you should be doing is setting some boundaries around that paperwork that needs to get done, or you perceive needs to get done, setting some boundaries around those so that you can continue to in a healthy way, separate yourself, your personal self, from your school self. All right, let me know what you come up with. Who's going to take me up on this challenge? Go ahead and find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook. I'm at The Inspired Classroom on both platforms. DM me and let me know what you come up with. Thanks so much for listening. Please be sure to subscribe as we continue talking about arts, learning, and in this collection of episodes, Teacher SEL. Teacher SEL is an important part of SEAL, social, emotional, artistic learning, where we believe in investing in the teacher so that they can make the greatest impact on their students. If you want to learn more, go to teachsel.com. My name's Elizabeth Peterson, reminding you to get inspired so that you can be inspiring to your students.